I want to spend one video explaining a little bit of my approach to how I teach, how I make videos, how I talk the way that I talk, and why I decide to say some of the things that I say on this channel. You might have noticed over the months or years, however long you've been subscribed to this channel, that I can be a little bit rough around the edges in terms of just delivering you guys some kind of tough love and some real moments of just raw honesty that sometimes can hurt. I mean, I'm the guy who said that probably about 50% of producers are going to be wiped out of sync licensing as a result of AI. Not exactly a popular thing to say to an audience full of people who want to get involved in sync licensing. So it's not lost on me that I have a whatever you call that. It's a little bit of a prickly personality, if you want to call it that, right? And I'm going to explain why I kind of approach what I do here in the way that I do it. Sync is a very exciting and rewarding and beautiful industry to be a part of, but it's also really hard to succeed at. It's extremely hard to thrive at. It is just a long-term, constantly getting your heart broken, getting your hopes smashed, getting your expectations drowned. It's just a really, really tough business to be a part of. That's just the brutal honesty. That's been my experience, and every single producer and artist that I know who's really thrived with sync and really made it their full-time focus will say the exact same thing, that you might get excited about it for a while and that excitement can carry you for a bit, but eventually it turns into it's a grind, right? The royalties maybe don't come as quickly, definitely don't come as quickly as you want, aren't as large as you want, getting rejected by libraries. You guys know the whole song and dance, right? It's just a really, really tough business. So I just want to make sure that if you find out about sync licensing through me and you're learning about it and trying to get sort of, ahead of the competition, so to speak, learning a little bit more about what are the best practices, what are libraries loving to hear from composers, what are they not loving to hear. Are some of you maybe shooting yourselves in the foot with how you approach companies? That's what we were talking about in the last couple of weeks, about the sort of 5 reasons why most producers are not getting accepted by libraries. I think my hypothesis and test confirms that it's not the libraries, it's you guys, it's something you're doing that's getting in your own way. Because this is a really tough business, I want you, if you're coming through it, through my channels, to be fully prepared for the fact that it's going to kick your butt, right? I don't want you to be surprised. I don't want you to go, wow, Jesse did not let me know how hard and how really long this takes to finally start to see some results. I want you on day one to essentially either be ready for that challenge and go, all right, that's going to be rough. I mean, if you guys remember, I had that Do Not Sync series. Remember, I had 10 videos telling you guys to give up and quit. Why would a guy trying to teach people about sync licensing tell his subscribers to quit? If you go watch those videos, which I'll link them below if you missed them, you'll see very quickly why. Most people, 95% of people, do not succeed at this. It's just a fact. I've said that 1,000 times in this channel. I'll say it 1,000 times more. It's 2 to 3, maybe 5% of people that really actually get to the point where this is consistently building up reliable income for them, whether that's part-time, so, partially supplying their bills, or it's carrying them to full-time where this is all they're focusing on. It's a small percentage. It's just a small percentage. And what I would like to do is try to scare away the 90% on day one if I can. That's kind of why I intentionally talk the way that I talk. I say the things that I say. I give you guys a lot of tough love. I say that AI is going to wipe out a vast majority of you guys, not even if it gets into sync licensing, just sort of the mental overload of struggling with knowing that a computer can basically do our job much faster, cheaper, and more efficiently than we can, sometimes even at a higher quality. That's the truth. I review tracks for my job as a part of our pro feedback experience. AI is already caught up and beating a number of producers that are trying to succeed at sync licensing. That is the truth. That's just where we're at. I would rather people not waste their time in an industry that's just not the right fit for them. Now, again, who am I to sit here and point my finger at people and say, you shouldn't be in sync and you should? I don't have that authority. I don't have that power. I don't have that insider wisdom. If somebody had told me when I got started in 2008, Jesse, your tracks are kind of garbage, you're not going to really thrive in this business, you should find something else, I'd probably believe them, because my tracks were kind of garbage. They weren't as good as most of the other tracks in the catalog. They weren't sort of, as loud, as impactful, as big, having a good, nice, rich low end. I had some cool riffs, but the actual end result, the product, wasn't at the sort of peak that it needed to be at the quality, the level. Luckily, thankfully, I had a library owner, a catalog owner that gave me a shot and consistently let me practice and get better and better and better. So I'm not somebody that can say you should or should not get into sync. But what I can do is I can basically make it as daunting and as intimidating and as maybe scary, honest. It's just honest what you're really getting yourself involved with. That's really what I'm trying to do with this channel, with all of my services, with any email you've ever received from me. I don't want to be just a wet blanket and a downer on this business, but I do know as a result of this channel and many other channels that are talking about sync, there's a lot of people going, wait, what? You can get your music on TV? Oh, yeah, I'll do that. And that's as far as they think about it. And they just throw their music at a catalog and a couple of libraries. And they think because they have music and because there's an industry that needs music, it's a match. And you guys know that. You've been following me for a while. You know it's not that simple. Your music has to be ready for production. It has to be production music. And you have to be partnered with the right library that can really actually shop your particular style of music and really help you get some of those placements. And most people are not even doing that 10% extra research to understand that it's a little bit more than just throwing your music into this industry. So with a lot more attention and focus and artists, scrambling, essentially looking for new ways to monetize their music, if you're a new subscriber and you might be wondering, why is Jesse kind of a hard ass and all this kind of stuff? This is why. Because if you're ever going to get involved in any of our premium services, I want to make sure that you have definitely gone through the sort of ringer of knowing what at least I'm going to tell you guys. And I will give you the sort of Cliff Notes version of it right here. This is what you can expect in this industry. So do not sign up for any of my services. Don't keep subscribing to this. Don't watch another video of mine if this is a complete turnoff for you, okay? So this is maybe a sort of a cleansing video to get some subscribers to get off the channel if this is really, you're not into it for this, okay? Especially for those of you that want to do this full-time or have a significant source of your income come from sync licensing. This is what you can expect, okay? You are going to get rejected by a few libraries at least. You could get lucky and not get rejected and get accepted by the first couple. Chances are you're going to get ignored or rejected the first couple of libraries. Most people are. I've been rejected. Everybody gets rejected. You're not up for that. It's kind of tough. I know it's hard. That's just coming at your way. It's going to be there. Okay. So just build that into your expectations. Timeline, 2 to 5 years minimum. That's minimum, where you can start to expect some significant and consistent royalties and passive income basically to start coming into your bank account. Okay. 2 to 5 years minimum. Could be 5 to 10 years for some of you. Are you up for this? Are you up for 5 to 10 years of consistently cranking out, earning little to no money for multiple years, believing in yourself and constantly building high quality relationships and shooting for opportunity after opportunity and probably getting rejected by most of them? We just had a great Zoom session with Troy McCubbin of Alloy Tracks, one of his most profitable and top earning composers now, who does some of the biggest trailers out there. Got rejected for basically a year or two straight. He was submitted to everything and never got anything. He basically called up Troy and said, I'm going to give up. Troy said, you got to hang in there, man. It takes a long time. You've got great music. If you want to give up, I understand, but I think you got something. If you just hang in there, I think you'll find it. Fast forward to many 5-6 years later, he is now his basically top earner. He's basically the top guy. When they scored the Oppenheimer trailers and all the work that he did for sound effects and the sound design, all that kind of stuff, this composer was the one out of all of his, his roster of composers and producers that he brought into the actual studio, because they kept that whole project under lock and key. They had to go into a private studio, no cell phones, all that kind of stuff. That was the producer that got in and do that. So are you up for that? Are you up for about a couple of years of maybe some rejection and not getting too far, and also seeing royalty check after royalty check that's either got a big fat zero on it, or maybe like me, it's got 14 cents on your first one, which took me about 2.5 years to finally see. Are you up for that? If you're not, bail. There are millions of other things you can be doing with your time. There are many other aspects of the entertainment business, the music industry, the film industry, any other thing you can do that hopefully maybe is more profitable and gets you something faster than this. Okay, so I want to make sure those are basically the two top reasons why most people should rethink whether or not they get involved in sync. And I hope that in the way that I talk about this, it's not depressing you and it's not, pissing you off or bumming you out, But it's basically just sort of either hardening your dedication to this and going, even after this video, you go, you know what, Jesse, this is all news to me. I already knew this. You let me know about this a long time ago. I'm prepared for the long journey. Great. Keep going on your journey if you got that dedication, if you got that talent, you've got that hard work and that mindset in place. For some of you, if this is news or you've been teetering and you've been on the fence, maybe this is a video that gives you that kind of confirmation, and maybe you just need permission to go do something else. If you need it from me, you got it from me. You can go do something else. There's a million other things you can be doing. You're not a failure. You're not an untalented producer. None of those things apply to that situation. It just means that maybe you had a misconception about what this industry really is all about, what it's going to take to succeed. I know that a lot of us think about the big placements and go, oh, dollar bills in our eyes and stars in our eyes. And oh my gosh, fame and glory and all these kind of things. There are some amazing things that can happen in this business. You guys all know that. That's why you're probably interested in and attracted to it. But to get to that point, it's going to be work, and you're going to be in the trenches, and you're going to be lifting some very heavy weights to get to the point where you're seeing those kinds of results. And there's no guarantee that you're going to be seeing any of those kinds of results. So that's my sort of flag that I plant in the ground to say, you can do it. A few of you can do it. A small number of you can do it. And it ain't coming tomorrow. It's going to be a long time. So I hope that kind of helped explain my point of view. If you have any more points of view on this, concerns, questions, anything like that, please post it below. I love the conversations we get in the comment section here on my channel.